Welcome to a new journey as we look into the hidden stories carved beneath the battlefields of the Great War. This is a Fieldcraft Chronicles documentary guide where we explore the forgotten art and graffiti left by soldiers of the First World War. Underneath the damaged lands of northern France, where poppies now wave over very old shell craters, there is another battlefield entirely. This one is quiet, lasting forever, and carved into solid rock. In the limestone quarries and underground shelters of the Western Front, soldiers left behind something unexpected. Thousands upon thousands of writings, drawings, and carvings that speak directly across 100 years of silence. These aren't just scratches on walls, they're tools for the mind to survive, mental anchors in a world that had gone crazy, and they show lessons in fieldcraft that go far beyond the art itself. Today, we're going down into those deep places to understand not just what soldiers made, but, why they needed to make anything at all, and what their underground life can teach us about bouncing back, changing, and the desire to keep humanity alive in very harsh conditions. Imagine the sudden attack on your senses first. Above ground, the Western Front was a terrible scene of industrial violence where a single artillery attack could throw tens of thousands of shells in hours, turning Earth into a moon-like surface and, frankly, burying men alive in mudslides they caused themselves. The sound alone could burst eardrums, cause nosebleeds, and, honestly, make men go into a state of shock where they couldn't move or react. In the Somme, Arras, and Ain areas, soldiers found safety in the region's old limestone quarries, some of which were from Roman times. These weren't small foxholes, but huge underground cities, with rooms big enough to hold entire groups of soldiers. British, French, German, Canadian, and Australian troops turned these natural rock formations into underground forts, creating what was like a whole other society beneath the mud. Changing from a surface soldier to an underground dweller needed quick adjustments. Airflow became very important. Soldiers learned to understand air currents, putting fires near natural openings to create a draft, a basic survival skill as old as living in caves itself. They carved small spaces for candles at important spots, knowing that too much smoke could kill as surely as poison gas. Managing water needed constant care. Limestone lets water through, and soldiers became, amateur water experts, guiding seeping water into collection spots, understanding how water drains, and making pump systems using old wood and metal. These weren't engineers following plans, but ordinary men using practical outdoor skills, learning about their stone shelter through trying things out, making mistakes, and, the kind of careful attention to detail that separates those who survive from those who don't. Here's where the art appears not as decoration, but as a survival skill for the spirit. In the Nawar caves near Amiens, where Australian, British and Canadian soldiers carved over 1,000 names and symbols, we see something deep about human strength. These men weren't damaging property, they were showing they existed in a war made to erase who people were. A name carved in chalk, a hometown written next to a military badge, a date marking a birthday celebrated underground, these actions served the same mental purpose as a modern survival teacher's focus on keeping a routine and a goal. The carving itself was like meditation, a way to control shaking hands, to focus the mind away from the loud surface, to create order from confusion. The tools were made up on the spot with typical soldier cleverness. Bayonets became carving tools. Used bullet casings were shaped into scrapers. Soldiers learned which limestone was soft enough to carve but strong enough to keep its shape. A geological understanding that, kind of matches a bushcrafter's knowledge of wood grain and fibers. Some writings took hours, even days, carved during rest periods. The act became a survival method itself, giving structure to time that might otherwise turn into harmful overthinking. The more detailed the carving, the more it suggests a soldier trying to give meaning, to leave proof that he existed beyond the military system that, reduced him to just a number. The underground soldiers of the Great War mastered ideas that, honestly, are still important for anyone serious about being ready and self-reliant. Their ability to make a place to live in dangerous environments, it shows a flexibility that truly goes beyond any time period. They understood how to manage heat, putting sleeping areas away from cold stone walls and using straw and old fabric for warmth. They managed light carefully, knowing that too much light wasted supplies and affected their night vision when they went back to duties above ground. They created systems for dealing with waste in small spaces, a tough but necessary part of living in a shelter for a long time that modern preppers often forget in their plans. Their outdoor skills also included keeping spirits up through group traditions. The graffiti sites became meeting places, shared areas, where soldiers from different units would add their marks to a growing picture of survival. This wasn't just messing things up, it was building a group, creating a shared identity through art made together. In modern survival psychology, we call this activity with a clear goal, and it's as important as food and water for lasting a long time. The soldiers who carved military badges next to personal prayers understood right away what research now shows. Humans get through tough times better when they stay connected to who they are, their group, and something bigger than their immediate pain. As we come out of these underground tunnels and return to daylight, we carry with us more than just old interesting things. We hold lessons carved in stone by men who faced conditions most of us will never know, but whose changes show a universal human ability. The graffiti of the Western Front teaches us that survival is never just about the body, it's about the mind, about being part of a group, and ultimately about creating. Those soldiers kept their humanity not by ignoring their situation, but by dealing with it directly, leaving marks that said, "I was here, I made it through, I mattered." For those of us who study outdoor skills and being prepared, their message is, really clear. True strength isn't about collecting a lot of stuff or remembering techniques. It's about keeping your mind flexible enough to change, having the inner strength to find meaning in hard times, and the basic human desire to create even when everything around you is being destroyed. These underground rooms, with their 100-year-old writings still visible in flickering light, stand as memorials not to war, but to the unbreakable human will to survive with dignity still whole. If this journey into history's forgotten parts connected with you, if you value how survival skills and human stories come together, then, well, subscribe to Fieldcraft Chronicles. Share this video with others who understand that the best way to get ready for an uncertain future is by understanding how humans have always changed, lasted, and finally won. The soldiers of the Western Front left us more than just graffiti. They left us a great lesson in strength, carved directly into stone.